Today on Green by Design, we're getting greasy. Hi, and welcome to Green by Design TV. I'm Connie.
And I'm Greg. For the next half hour, we'll be your hosts as we showcase folks all around the tri-state area who are taking steps towards leading a healthier, more considered life.
That's right. Greg and I call ourselves Newly Greens because we're just now recognizing the potential environmental impact of some of our choices, and we're trying to incorporate healthier, more balanced approaches that don't require us to sacrifice convenience, comfort, style, or break the bank.
Right. The good news is lots of folks are already using these healthier alternatives, and this show looks to them for inspiration. For Connie and I, the challenge is now coming up with strategies to implement these ideas. And we invite you all to come with us as we share our attempts to become greener.
Come on. About half of New Jersey's global warming emissions come from transportation. So today's show is about greener cars and alternative fuels.
Now, obviously, the New Jersey weather has taken a turn for us, but we will not let that stop us. I've wanted to do this show for a while. So I'm an old motorhead with a sweet spot for muscle cars. This is actually my '69 Cougar here. And my newly green confession for this show is that I have never owned a car that wasn't a V8.
That's not true, dear. Now you own a V10.
Criminy woman.
And
have you no shame? Yes, alas, it is true. My current vehicle is a V10.
Yep.
I bought this car when Connie and I were gigging musicians, and we needed a pickup to tow our gear. And after cooking transmissions and a few other trucks, I wanted something big. So admittedly, fuel efficiency and environmentalism were not my chief concern at the time. And you are all here to bear witness to the challenge of applying new ideals.
that's right. Well, we'll do some penance for that truck later in the show.
I have a feeling a change may be in store for me.
Possibly so. Today we're going to look at the big 5 alternative fuel options, which are biodiesel, hybrid, electric, fuel cell, and ethanol. I'll also be giving you some auto-themed green tips later, and we'll visit the Wayne Auto Spa, which is a greener place to spiff up your ride.
But let's start by getting extreme with a veggie diesel conversion. A few months ago, I spent a couple of nights with our friend Matt converting his Volvo diesel to run on straight vegetable oil. We'll take a look at some of that process, and we'll talk about some of the things we learned.
This isn't as radical an idea as it may seem. The original diesel engine was designed to run on peanut oil. That design was modified over time to run on thinner petroleum-based products as they became more widely available. Here's an overview of the system we're putting in.
Okay, Matt. So why don't you give us a little bit of an explanation of how this whole rig is going to work?
All right, well, I first start my car up on regular diesel fuel, and what happens is that the coolant from the engine, which is hot, is sent to the vegetable fuel tank, which warms up the vegetable oil to a thin enough consistency that it can be used as fuel, and then I pretty much just hit a switch and my car is running on straight vegetable oil.
Cool. So what it is I guess the vegetable oil, because it's thick, you want to make sure that it's thinned out before it goes through the line so it doesn't congeal in the engine. Is that kind of the idea?
Yes.
Clog up the fuel injectors? Mm-hmm. What's in the kit?
All right, well, first we have our 13-gallon auxiliary fuel tank, which holds the vegetable oil, inside of which is the heating coil for the engine coolant to heat up the oil.
Now, Matt, I noticed that tank is round.
It is round.
Why is that?
It was fabricated to fit directly into the spare tire well of my car.
And what's next?
Next we have the vegetable oil fuel filter, which is really just a regular diesel fuel filter with a coil wrapped around it that carries the coolant for the car and heats up the oil inside the filter.
It's nice. I mean, it seems like a very simple idea, but nicely fabricated, nice clean design.
Exactly, nice and solid.
Great.
After which, the fuel gets sent to one of 2 solenoid valves, and the solenoid valve is controlled by me inside the car, and I tell it to go either on diesel or on veggie.
So this is actually, it's an electronic switch with 2 inlets, one for veggie, one for diesel, and an outlet to the fuel injectors. All right, so this is really where you make the switch between vegetable oil and diesel.
Yes, the heart of the kit.
All right, cool. And what's that?
These are the instructions.
We won't be needing those. This is America. All right, let's get to it. Let's dive in.
Yeah.
So what we had decided was that we're going to mount things on the firewall. That seems to be the neatest place for us. So you can see here we've already got one of the fuel solenoids in, and we're going to mount the second one over here, kind of next to that, and then ultimately we're going to put the fuel pump, right, or I'm sorry, the fuel filter, the veggie fuel filter right over here. Then we'll run the lines right back underneath the car. The whole project actually took us 2 evenings to get together. We ran into some trouble where the supplied hoses didn't fit some of the fittings. All in all, though, I'd rate it about a 6 on the do-it-yourself scale. It wasn't too difficult, but we definitely took some planning, and we wanted to get it right. I mean, this is a motor vehicle, and this is combustible fuel, whether it's veggie or not. Hey, Con.
Oh, hey. What's up?
So when Matt was talking about the fuel line being jacketed by the engine coolant, it all comes down to this assembly right here. It's really quite clever. You get water and gas together coming in one side, O-ring seals off the water, water gets diverted into your heater core, and the fuel comes out and goes into your solenoids. It's pretty cool.
Green alert! Antifreeze is highly toxic. A small amount is seriously poisonous to animals and humans. If you're shopping for antifreeze, you want propylene glycol. It's 10 times safer than ethyl glycol, but it's still really foul stuff. So don't put it down the drain. Don't leave puddles in your driveway.
When working on heater lines, you want to use separate funnels and buckets to catch your old antifreeze. If the antifreeze is clean, you can reuse it. If it does get contaminated with oil or fuel, then it becomes hazardous waste and it has to be taken to a recycling center. And these are regional, but you can check out where to find them at njhaswaste.com, or you can call your local public works department to find out where to take these. And like Connie said, do not put it down the drain.
The trickiest part of the conversion is finding fuel, but since waste oil is something most restaurants have to pay to dispose of, it's not as hard as you might think to arrange for. Several restaurants actually told Matt that they would give him their oil once their disposal contracts were up, and ultimately he worked out a deal with the local Whole Foods as well.
So after some hard work, the moment came to switch to Matt's first batch of salvaged waste oil.
Show me the switch.
All right. Now, I don't know exactly what we were expecting, but frankly, it was a little anticlimactic.
I recall.
But after about a minute, the garage did start to smell of pork fried rice.
As you can see, it certainly runs. According to the kit manufacturer, SVO produces 26% less CO2 and 39% less particulate matter than regular diesel.
As we mentioned, there are 5 major categories of alternative fuel vehicles: biodiesel, hybrid, fuel cell, electric, and flex fuel or ethanol. And we'll take a look at all these a bit in this show. Now, biodiesel is the most like our project with Matt, except that biodiesel is actually a legal fuel. Yes, straight vegetable oil is not a legal fuel, so you might want to consider that when you're taking on a project like this. We were breaking the law, sticking it to the man.
Okay, settle down there, baby. All biodiesel essentially begins with some form of vegetable oil. They remove the glycerin, leaving behind the thinner methyl esters, or a biodiesel.
Now, because it comes from plants, it's considered renewable, and the glycerin byproduct can be used in soap. Now, biodiesel can also be blended with petroleum-based fuels in any proportion, and it's completely biodegradable in the event of a spill. It's far less emission-producing than regular diesel, and it can be run in diesel engines without any modification to the engine itself.
We'll have information on our website as to where you can find biodiesel. We'll also have a link to the kit we installed in Matt's car, as well as a more detailed video of the whole process, and some information on performance since the kit was installed. You might want to check that out.
Now, after the break, hybrids, fuel cells, and of course, goods. When Green by Design TV, the Newly Greens continues.
Hey, changing your oil? Yep. I'm just about finished. You hand me that wrench? Here, take this.
What's this for?
Recycling your motor oil. Just call 1-800-CLEANUP and they'll tell you the closest place to take it.
Hey, I know you.
Finish the job and recycle it. I've been changing my own oil for over 40 years, and that's how I do it.
Wow.
Welcome back. Today we're taking a Newly Greens look at the big 5 alternative fuels and Greg's blatant hypocrisy.
Nice. We will take a look at Connie leaving the dining room light on next episode. A big part of our Newly Green's transformation is making some honest determinations about what we really need in our daily requirements. There was a time that I needed a big truck,
I like
but
the truck
we
too.
are not currently playing out, so we're not carrying the
as
gear
much,
around,
no,
so
right.
it's time to make some adjustments.
Right. And like I imagine most people, Greg and I are on a budget, and though a hybrid would be great, it's not really, in the cards for us financially right now. So we kind of get a hybrid by proxy.
Right. My dad and stepmom just got a new hybrid, and they were willing to give us a deal on their old '86 Camry. Now, it's not a hybrid, but it's within our budget, and it gets about twice the mileage of my formerly beloved pickup. So one thing that we would like to get across with this show is don't let the fact that you can't swing your ideal solution stop you from taking some sort of action to live healthier.
That's right. Anything we can do is an improvement, and with each step, it becomes easier to take the next. So if you happen to be feeling the green call, don't worry about it. Just take a little step, lean into it. As long as it supports your values, you can take pride in it. It's been very satisfying for us.
Absolutely. To get us in the mood for hybrids, my dad is letting us take his new ride out for a spin.
So the term hybrid isn't specific to any manufacturer. It actually refers to a type of vehicle which incorporates both a gasoline and an electric motor. For around the town driving, the electric motor does most of the work, and then the gasoline motor kicks on in the event of heavy acceleration or if the battery becomes low and needs charging. One other cool feature is a regenerative braking function. What this is for is instead of the motor driving the wheels actually turn the motor when you hit the brakes, and this helps to recharge the battery.
My turn.
All right.
Obviously, some pretty sophisticated computers need to be on board in order to control all of the dynamic switching. But except for the fact that it's very quiet and I feel like it's in stealth mode when it switches to the electric motor, I don't notice a difference. Depending on the model, the hybrid can double the mileage you get from the traditional counterpart. And the best news is that the hybrid can reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 22% or more. There are two other variations on hybrids that are on the horizon. One is the plug-in hybrid, and this technology allows you to plug in the car at night.
Oh, hey, that's go
Cool.
figure.
This extends the range of the batteries, giving you the equivalent of over 100 miles per gallon.
Nice. Plug-in hybrids reduce greenhouse gases 36%, even with their dependence on the grid. And if you get your power from wind or solar, then you're way ahead of the game.
Absolutely, my gosh. And while it's currently pretty expensive, there are a number of companies selling plug-in conversions for hybrids right now. And of course, we'll put a link to some of them and where we found our statistics at greenbydesign.tv.
Now, the other variation on hybrids are those that use fuel cells instead of gas motors, which brings us to fuel cells as another of the big 5 alternative fuels. Now, fuel cells are essentially just fancy batteries that create electricity from hydrogen. They can power a motor directly or be coupled with a storage battery in a hybrid system. Now, when running on pure hydrogen, fuel cells emit nothing more than water vapor and heat. 0 greenhouse gases.
Although, well, water vapor is a greenhouse gas.
That is true.
But not a horribly harmful one.
Right, it'll just give everybody frizzy hair. Case in point.
By the way, perhaps I should have gone curly today. Honey, should I have gone curly today?
So tell us about the town of Montclair.
The town of Montclair recently purchased several fuel cell cars for their municipal fleet. And we'll have more on what Montclair has done in an upcoming episode of GBD, where we talk with Town Environmental Coordinator Gray Russell. When Green by Design continues, we'll look at the last 2 of the big 5 alternative fuels, ethanol and electric. Then we'll hit the auto spa and share some green auto tips. Stay tuned.
Share your ride. The average commuter burns 340 gallons of gas and creates a 3.4-ton cloud of CO2 a year. Carpool and cut that figure in half. Answer the call. Hey.
Hey, hi.
Could be good. Hey, you.
Welcome back to Green by Design TV. We're talking alternative fuel vehicles today. Electric cars have surfaced in the past, but never seemed to catch on, and that's because drivers had to give something up in the bargain. That's all about to change.
What you're looking at may look like a Lotus and it may move like a Ferrari, but it sure doesn't sound like one. That's because this is the Tesla, the world's first performance exotic electric car. Now, electric motors are a natural fit for performance cars due to the inherent power curve. Hitting the accelerator is just like flipping a switch. Instant torque. There's no waiting for a power curve in the engine. And torque is what moves you off the line.
The car has a range of over 200 miles on a charge. It can reach 130 miles per hour and does 0 to 60 in 4 seconds.
Nice.
Plus, chicks dig it, I hear.
Chicks dig it.
Yes.
Do they now?
Yes.
Wow. The Tesla also has a regenerative braking system similar to the ones that we were talking about in the hybrids, and a lithium-ion battery that is touted to run for 100,000 miles before degrading. And at an operating cost of only a couple cents per mile, who knows, maybe you could actually save money by buying it.
And maybe we should put solar panels on the garage. Then
Yeah.
we'll really be carbon neutral
There you
in
go.
style.
Very nice. And you know, I hear the chicks dig it.
Is that too, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
excellent, excellent. You know what else I hear they dig?
Well, what else do chicks dig?
Camrys.
Really? Yeah, 4-cylinder Camrys, huh? Oh, very nice.
That's it.
Well, that's all the motivation I need. Yes, folks, it's true. I'm prepared to give up 6 cylinders for my lady. Yeah. And for some of my moral convictions, maybe. Just a little bit. It is true.
Oh. Whoa!
All right. Listen, I know the truck will still produce greenhouse gases with a new owner, but for me, it's more about using what you need right now and living consistent with your values.
Well, I think it's sexy.
Well, thank you, dear. We'll
Wait,
talk
what?
more later. More tips and links for the stories that we've shared today are available at our website, gbd.tv. No, not gbd.tv, greenbydesign.tv. When we return, flex fuel with ethanol and a greener way to clean and freshen your ride when Green by Design continues.
Yeah, all right. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Pump up, pump less. Come on, you could do better than that. You know you could do better than that. All right, let's go again. Yes! Properly inflated tires can improve your gas mileage enough to earn you a free tank of gas every year. I told you had it inside you. Answer the call.
Welcome back. Today we've been taking a look at the big 5 alternative fuels: biodiesel, hybrid, fuel cell, electric, and now flex fuel or ethanol. Connie?
Ethanol is distilled from plant sugars or starches, and we usually associate it with corn, but it can also be made from sugarcane. There's another option called cellulosic ethanol that is made from switchgrass, some other plants, even yard waste. And this is probably a better option because it converts more efficiently.
Ethanol is more corrosive than oil-based fuel. In order for gas engines to run on ethanol, some fuel system components have to be replaced, and the onboard computers need to be recalibrated. And this modification allows regular cars to run on ethanol blends up to 85% ethanol, and it only costs automakers about $250 a car.
There are some real drawbacks to ethanol. One is that it reduces fuel efficiency by up to 30%. And there's some other cons as well, but we're running a little short on time. So we'll put the rest of that information up on our website at greenbydesign.tv.
Now, while we're on the auto theme, we wanted to take a look at another business that has decided to lean into it. That is the Wayne Auto Spa. Now, over the winter, I tagged along with a group of students from William Patterson University as the owner, Rob Burke, gave a tour of some of the spa's unique features. So sorry about the camera work on this. It was not my best.
Some of the things that we've done here were originally aimed at trying to figure out how to run the most economically efficient business that we could run. We consume a huge amount of energy here. We consume a lot of electricity, something like 11 or 12,000 kilowatt hours a month, which is probably more than your house or apartment consumes in a year. Things that we've done here that make us a little bit different than other folks that do what we do. That big red box on the top is one of 2 furnaces that we have. Each are rated at 250,000 BTUs. And they are fueled with oil that we take out of customers' cars and store in a tank. So when we have a customer coming for an oil change, we'll drop the oil from the oil pan and we'll pump it into a tank, and that tank in turn is piped to this furnace and to another one. The horizontal copper piping in the back, there's a machine to the right of it. That machine reuses filters and recycles wastewater from the car wash and puts it back into the car wash. There's some residual soap in that water. As a result, we can use less soap per car over time than we otherwise would. And obviously in the last couple of phases of the car wash, we're using clean water, fresh water. It's kind of hard to rinse a car with soapy water. But it reduces the consumption of water that we use here from 50 or 60 gallons a car to about, 13 to 15 gallons a car, which is a pretty big deal. Most car washes use treated city water to wash cars. We don't. We have a well. We're pumping, from 50 feet below ground, fresh water that hasn't gone to the municipal treatment plant. It's not potable water. You're not gonna take a shower in it. You're not gonna drink it. But you can certainly wash a car in it. We intend to install, sometime between now and the springtime, basically geothermal air conditioning. So we've already got the well, we've already got the pump. We're moving a huge amount of water out of the ground as it is. And to pipe it through a coil, much like you would pipe Freon through a regular home air conditioning system, and connect it up to our existing ductwork, shouldn't be a very complicated or expensive thing to do. Interestingly, one of the byproducts to that is hot water. Right now, it's cold water inside the tunnel like it is in every other car wash because hot water is just too expensive. But to have the ability to actually heat up the water that's used in the car wash, which will do, an incrementally better job cleaning the car, and get free air conditioning out of it all at the same time and avoid, again, the consumption of more electricity that's generated by burning coal. The south-facing roof picks up sun from, for the entire day.
So what do you get out of it?
Well, it's rated at 10 kilowatt hours, and I think we're getting probably around 14, 15.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, no, it's a great location. It's really a very good location. And it's seamless. I don't see anything. I don't have to do anything. If these are generating electricity, it's just less that I'm drawing out from the power company. If they're not, then I'm drawing out more from the power company. Again, I'm not sure if my data is correct, but I believe that every kilowatt hour of clean electricity generated avoids the expulsion into the atmosphere of 1.5 pounds of greenhouse gases.
Thanks to Rob Burke of Wayne Auto Spa for thinking outside the box and trying to conduct your business in an environmentally and conscientious manner. And we'll have updates on the spa's other improvements on our website, greenbydesign.tv. Now, of course, no Green by Design TV would be complete without a look at the more easily attainable sustainables. So now, Connie, with our friend Lily for this week's O-Goods.
Welcome to O-Goods and another sunnier day. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, cars suffer a 1% loss in fuel efficiency for every 2 pounds the tires are underinflated. This translates to almost $500 a year in wasted gas money and contributes up to 2,900 pounds of greenhouse gas emissions emitted into the atmosphere annually. So today's O-Goods will be a tire pressure 101. Doesn't cost a thing to do, and anybody can do it. You don't need a whole lot of money to take some steps toward leading a greener lifestyle. My friend Lily's gonna help me out. Hey.
Hey, Connie. How's it going?
How are you?
Good.
So nice to see you.
Great to see you too.
Yeah. So, want to try and figure this out?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
All right, good. So, I'm told that you can find the manufacturer's suggested pressure inside the door.
Okay.
All right. So, I guess we're looking here for the numbers, right? The right and the front and the rear?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because it says the front says 220 kPAs and 32 PSIs.
Okay.
And the rear says 200 kPAs and 29 PSIs. So is that the best maximum pressure?
This is not the maximum pressure. This is actually the manufacturer's recommended.
Okay.
But I think you can find the maximum on the tires. The maximum gives you the best mileage from what I understand.
Okay.
Just might be a little bumpier. Manufacturer gives you the best kind of overall.
Right.
All right, I happen to have my handy tire pressure gauge.
I have one too.
Of course, I don't think you actually have to have one of these.
No, I think a lot of the gas attendants already have them and stuff like that.
But if you ever wanted to do it yourself, right? Okay, let's try one. I think. Let me just take this off. And from what I understand, you have to really get this centered. And
32, right on the marker.
all right.
So do you think I can try it myself?
Sure, let's go to another one.
Cool.
All right, so I think we did great.
I think we did well. I mean, it's great the fact that we can do this ourselves
Yeah.
and be more environmentally friendly.
Right, and save money.
I know.
Sounds like I'm losing a lot of money actually here in gas for some of these tires. But you know what I think I'll do? I think I'm going to check them like every season as the seasons change, because that's how I check like when I do my oil changes.
Right, and it's pretty simple. All
Yeah.
this stuff is very easy to remember.
Exactly. You just get on a schedule and you're done.
Exactly. So do you have any other green auto tips?
Well, it's funny you should ask. Come on, take a look.
Cool, thanks.
I did a search online for all-natural car air fresheners.
Uh-huh.
And I found this. Pretty neat, right? It's just a little piece of wood, and you put some essential oil drops on it.
Right.
And there you go.
And it's beat having that ugly tree hanging on your rearview mirror.
Totally, man. I think it looks kind of cool.
It
right?
does.
Yeah. And if you saw my last O-Goods, you know that I stocked up on essential oils for the cleaning products.
Uh-huh.
So when I run out of this, I'll have plenty more.
Exactly, and it'll be smelling really, really nice.
I found another reason to have all these oils in my house. Yeah, I thought this was cool, even though I'm really not big, to be honest with you, on car air fresheners.
Right, the smell's always overpowering, and you like suffocate in the car.
Oh, totally. It can be, really. Yeah, and you can't control it. With this, at least you can.
I know, that's great.
Right?
It's very decorative, one or two drops, and that's it.
Exactly. If you like strong, put on 10. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's cool.
Cool.
Yeah, I bought you one.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, go.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Green by Design TV. And thanks to everybody who helped us out. Please visit our website at greenbydesign.tv and let us know if you liked the show or if you didn't like the show. We appreciate all kinds of feedback.
Now, we're proud to live in New Jersey. The state has a history of environmental awareness. In 1972, they were the first state to sign mandated emission checks for motor vehicles. And just this year, Governor Corzine signed into effect the Global Warming Response Act, which mandates a reduction of 80% of greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. So hats off to you, sir. You are thinking green, and that is good for the earth.
And that's good for us.
Okay. Peel out, man. Let's go get some ice cream.
All right.
All right.
Is there like an emergency brake on? It says brake.
I know.
All right.
Step on the gas.
It's not letting me go anymore. Let's see.
Just step on the gas.
The brake, you mean?
Yeah, step on the brake. Step on the gas, what happens?